Sleep is something that your body requires, but what a lot of high school students are lacking in their daily lives. We interviewed a few students and teachers on this problem. Do you think students get enough sleep at night?
I think with all the activities that they have going on and in their life, I don't think there's any way that anyone really gets enough sleep at night. I just think the appropriate amount of sleep and what our bodies need doesn't really line up with our busy schedules.
Do you think lack of sleep affects students' work?
I absolutely. I think that lack of sleep can affect any kind of work, any kind of coordination, and especially anything intellectual. So yeah, I think a lack of sleep absolutely could be detrimental to grade point average.
Do you think that students are ever kept up late at night doing homework?
Do I think students are kept up late at night?
Do you think schoolwork keeps students up late?
I think it's part of it. I think a lot of it has to do with other things and maybe little extracurricular things and time management. But I think that schoolwork can be part of the problem.
How often do you see students fall asleep in class?
I would have to say 33 times a day.
Wow.
Yeah, give or take.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I get a lot of sleeping kids.
How do you react when a student falls asleep?
Well, it's immediately it feels a little disrespectful. It feels like a personal slight, but then you do realize that all these complications that we have been discussing, that it has nothing to do with you personally as the individual, but more of what they have going on in their life. So I've become less sensitive to kids falling asleep.
Now that we have the point of view of a teacher, we asked a few students about their sleeping habits.
I feel refreshed. Yeah. Ready for the day.
I feel pretty groggy, is that the word? Like I wake up, don't want to go anywhere, just want to go back to sleep. But school kind of keeps me from doing that, so.
I'm pretty tired. Usually I don't get that much sleep during the night.
How much sleep do you think you get on average a night?
Like 7 or 8 hours.
About 8 hours, but it's not enough.
Why?
Because I still feel pretty bad in the mornings.
Roughly like 6, maybe 7 hours tops.
Do you think that it's enough?
Yeah. Like, you're supposed to get like the whole 8 hours, but like, I think 6 to 7 is fine. I'm pretty good.
No, definitely not, because I don't really get a lot of schoolwork, so I get a good night's sleep because of that.
No. Because I don't do it.
I don't do schoolwork.
Yeah, if I don't sleep long enough, I get like cranky, I guess.
If I don't get it, I'm going to feel awful. If I do get it, then I need enough of it to feel good. But I almost never get enough of it to feel good. So I just pretty much feel awful in the morning.
I don't think it affects me unless I get like an hour or 2 of sleep. Like, then I'm going to be cranky, but like, if I get like my average like 6, 7 hours, now I'm good.
Yeah, all the time, man.
No, I have not.
That's good.
I've almost fallen asleep in class.
Students believe that in order to function properly throughout the day, they require a certain number of hours of sleep per night. We also found an expert's opinion on teenage sleep deprivation.
Doubt about that. If you were to sample a typical high school classroom, I'll bet you there will be a 25 to 30% incidence of some attributable sleep disorder.
The part of your brain that tries to make you sleep and wake at the most beneficial times is the suprachiasmatic nucleus, otherwise known as the body's master clock. It receives information from your eyes about incoming light. So when it gets dark at night, it directs your pineal gland to secrete melatonin, a hormone that makes you sleepy. Then in the morning, when the sunlight hits your eyes, the signal is given to stop releasing melatonin, making you more alert. Disrupt those light signals and your sleep-wake cycle can fall apart.
You can no longer expect them to be at bed by 9, and at the same time you cannot expect them to be up by 6 in the morning. So what that does is they're not going to bed earlier, but they are made to wake up early. So that leads to some sleep loss every single night, and that has an effect in the way they function during the daytime. Most people, including teenagers, they say that well, they're fine getting 6 hours because it doesn't affect them. But they might be true in some extent, but they may be right in doing things correctly, but at the expense of being efficient. You're actually more efficient, more productive if you got your sleep hours at night. There's a good data out there that says that, well, if you don't get enough sleep hours at night, it negatively affects your mood during the daytime. You probably are more irritable, and you are more prone to have drowsy driving related accidents. And there is also a good data suggesting that it might affect your learning as well.
According to this expert, 25 to 30% of students have a sleep disorder. Students have been staying up late because of overuse of electronics. This disrupts their biological clock, making it harder to fall asleep when they want to. In an article from Medical News Today, we found that 90% of parents felt their children were getting plenty of sleep, while 59% of children felt they were not. Over half of all teenagers have been driving their car while feeling sleepy over the past year. 28% of high school children fall asleep while at school once a week or more. In conclusion, teenagers require a range of 8 to 9 hours of sleep per night. With more sleep, they can go about their day healthier than they would without it.